I have met all of my favorite people on the internet.
I would always seek the friends that I pedestaled.
What did I do wrong? Maybe she's saying she doesn't really want to hang out with me, but she doesn't have the courage to say that.
I was like hysterically crying. I was so upset because I felt like, oh my God, this person I care so much about has been so hurt by me.
Hello gorgeous and welcome to Vortex Vision, the show where you are the star, and I'm your host, Gala Darling. This episode is all about friendship, which is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and this episode is really a celebration of friendship, as well as we tackle some interesting topics that I don't ever really see anyone talk about. So in this episode, you're going to get to see an interview with an amazing friend of mine who is kind of a super friend. I've never met someone with more amazing connections to other people, and she's gonna show us how she cultivates those and how she deals with conflict in those situations. We're also going to throw a dinner party with some of my friends where one of my best friends and I are gonna have a very intimate conversation that we've never had publicly before that I think is gonna be really beautiful, that you're really gonna love. I'm gonna answer some questions from the audience about how do you make friends as you get older and all these things that can really be difficult. And we're also gonna do some tapping to attract in the most perfectly aligned people for us. The reason I think that friendship is near and dear to my heart, well, there's a couple of things. Number one, I grew up on Sex and the City, and I always thought I would have these like 3 best friends through everything and blah, blah, blah. And as I got older, I realized it wasn't that simple. I realized that maintaining friendships took a lot of effort. It wasn't just this seamless thing. And as somebody who moved around a lot from New Zealand to Australia to New York to Los Angeles, I've also found that proximity matters a lot. So sometimes when you move around, you lose contact with those people. Or I remember like saying goodbye to a friend of mine in New York and we promised we'd see each other again. We've never seen each other again. And sometimes these friendships just kind of disintegrate when you're not close together and you don't both make the effort. But friendships are so vitally important, and when we meet those people that we can really be ourselves with and let our guard down with, then we feel like our best selves. And our friends are the people that we can complain to and grizzle to, and we can send text messages that you would never want released to the public. And you also can laugh until you cry. And I think that, you know, when you're going through something hard, maybe you're struggling in your career or your relationship or your health, they're the people that can remind you who you are, what you're capable of, and what is possible for you. And they can also help you connect the dots. I can't tell you how many times my best friend has reminded me about situations from the past, or how this boyfriend reminds her of that boyfriend in a way that like I could never see on my own. And my favorite thing, I think, about friendship is the way that it enables you to have these beautiful creative collaborations. This entire show is possible because of the amazing people I've met and that I cherish and trust and respect. And even the interviews and people that are featured on this show are close friends of me. And I think they're such geniuses, and it brings me so much joy to share that with you so you can see how amazing they are. And I think that's what real friendship is about. It's like, would you mention their name when they're not in the room? Would you recommend them for things? Do you hype them up? Do you have their back no matter what? And so we're celebrating that today. I hope that you love it. I have goosebumps as I think about it. It's a very special topic to me, so let's do it. Hello gorgeous, welcome back to Vortex Vision, and I am so excited to be doing this interview today. I am sitting here with my very dear friend Krista Williams. She's the host of the Almost 30 podcast, and I brought her on because she is the friendship queen. I have never met a woman who is more socially active, but not in like a shallow way, not in a silly, superficial way. She has so many deep, vulnerable friendships, and I think that's what we really crave in our lives. So she's here to talk about that today.
I'm excited.
Yay, I'm so excited.
I bet there's people like friends in the past that I've had friendship breakups with. They're like, that bitch, she's not the friendship expert. So just saying, I'm not like a total expert, but I have a lot of deep, intimate relationships, and I've learned a lot about friendship. especially building the podcast. We have a community of women we support like you do.
Yeah.
So it's been just like a lot of my work in the past couple of years to really invest in and understand relationships and friendships. And I really do feel proud of like the relationships that I have, but I will say I'm not perfect.
Yeah. Well, none of us are.
Yeah.
None of us are. We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So from looking at your stories, which it seems like you are constantly with people and women and doing things, I have to ask, are you introverted or extroverted?
I'm so extroverted, it's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of my friends are actually introverts, and I actually get jealous of introverts because I feel like you can channel your energy into your work and you become more successful. Where me, my energy is all over the place, but I've always been an extrovert. So really figuring out the fact that I do get my energy from my relationships, I do get my energy from people, is just something that I know about myself now. So I allow myself more time to recharge and be with people than I think in the past I would like kind of hold back from spending a lot of time with friends.
Okay.
But honestly, I think post-divorce, I've been just very social.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you find that when you were in your marriage, you put your friendships to the side a little bit and that was draining or difficult for you?
Yeah, so I was in a marriage. I was married for a few years. We were together for 10, which is,
Wow.
you know. And in that, you just kind of, your relationships change because you're spending so much more time with your partner. But what I realized with our relationship was that I was so unaligned with myself and I was so unhappy with who I was that I didn't want to be around people. I wasn't my best self. I wasn't someone people wanted to be around probably as much as they do now.
Yeah.
And when you really choose yourself, and when you really get out of toxic patterns and codependency and become more of who you are and have better boundaries and standards, people are magnetized to you. Like people have been magnetized to me after my divorce because I chose myself, because I know who I am, and because I'm such a better person and friend than I ever was when I was in an unaligned relationship all the time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so I just feel like so many women put their friendships aside
Yeah.
when they're in relationship, and then they sort of don't have anyone to talk through their relationship with.
Yeah.
But it's such a shame that we don't put a lot of emphasis on female friendship because these are the friendships that last the longest.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think that we all have this fantasy of like the Sex and the City group of like
my gosh.
4
And
friends.
girls.
And the girls. So do you think that's realistic? Like, do you have a core group
Yeah.
of people that you've been with for a long time? Or do you find that your friendship groups change a lot?
Yeah, I think just even speaking to that, that was such a, I was 14 in Ohio being like, this is like, I relate to nothing more than Sex and the City, which is delusional. But so many of us grew up with that idea of having the 4 best friends forever, from girls, from Sex and the City. No matter what happened in their lives or their schedules, they stayed friends.
Yeah.
Even thinking about Sex and the City, they had divorce, they had kids, they had so much transition, and they stayed friends that entire time.
Yeah.
So in my life growing up, I had the assumption that I would have the same friends for the rest of my life, that my friends from Ohio, my friends from high school, my friends from college would be there forever. And that wasn't the case for me.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. I went to school in Ohio, and I remember after moving to Chicago and then New York and then LA eventually, I was so sad because I was like, have I done something wrong where I haven't taken friends from grade school to middle school to now? Like, I have one of my best friends from home, but I thought there was something wrong with me. But really, I realized that like the way that my life is, how much I travel, the things that I'm interested in, my friends change how I change. I've been changing so much, so your friendships change. So I think giving myself permission was really helpful. But I think for most of us, if we are people that are committed to our growth, are prioritizing ourselves, and are really interested in living a life that's full, we're gonna have relationships that change. We're gonna have friends that come in and out. They say that friends are there for a lifetime, for a season, and then for a reason. So sometimes you might be going through a breakup and you get close to one of your friends who's also going through a breakup. Sometimes you might have a friend that you have for your entire life, but maybe you go in and out of being close. So I think it's really being okay with like the changing and evolving of friendships through your life and accepting them as they are, because once you're good with yourself, you can then accept that relationships will change too.
Completely. And also accepting that people have their different roles in your life.
Yeah.
There might be some friends that really you only talk about business, and some friends that you don't talk about business with at all because they're not interested in that or whatever.
Yes, I think that's so real. Like,
Yeah.
you probably have that too, where it's like, my friends, I don't really talk about business with a lot of my friends. It's just not my preference. But I do have people in my life that I'm like, oh, I'll talk to you about relationships with, or you talk about whatever. And I think it's just accepting friends for what they are and not trying to make everyone fit in a box of being everything for you or like holding everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what's been your journey like in your friendship journey where, because you're someone that changes and evolves so much.
Yes.
Like you have like, how did you navigate your friendship relationships when you've changed a lot too?
Well, I don't have a huge group of friends that I'm super close to.
Yeah.
You know, I have a handful of people. I've been really lucky to keep some of those people. Like my best friend Shauna, who's also my graphic designer.
Yeah.
We met on the internet in, I don't know, 1999 or something, in like a Flickr wardrobe remix group, and met in person in 2006, and we've been friends ever since. And I'm thankful that she's someone who is also interested in self-evolution, and she has a business and she's growing it. We've managed to stay in touch really well. But there are some friends that things just change, like you want to keep growing, or you stop drinking, or your relationship shifts and you just don't connect anymore. And I think it's really easy for us to take that stuff personally. Like the amount of friendships I've had where I was super close to someone, we would voice note all day long, and all of a sudden there's a rift and a change, and you have no idea why that happens, can be so hurtful, because it's really easy to be like, what did I do wrong? Have you experienced that before? Like a friend like ghosts you or whatever?
Yeah, I think I was someone with friendships before where I would always seek the friends that I pedestaled and that were like insecure attachments a little bit, where like they would kind of be the ones I would chase. Like I would have a bunch of women that would want to hang out with me, but I'd be like, ooh, I want these ones. That I couldn't really tell.
I want the difficult ones.
Yeah, like I was like, do they like me? I don't know. Like I'd be like, it's only a matter of time until I hang out with them to make them like me. Like there was like some delusion. So I would have that a lot, where I would just be investing in women that weren't investing in me.
Which is so fucking painful.
So painful. But I was like used to it. I was kind of used to being sidekick energy a lot too in my life, where I would like, I love powerful women. But I'd be like sidekick. Like I'd get with a powerful woman as a friend, and I'd kind of be like just supporting her vision, her mission, kind of adjusting to her. But I have many seasons of relationships with women where they've kind of gone in and out or been inconsistent. But over the past year or so since my divorce, it's been like me being first with myself and being good with myself. And even psychically, I had to do a practice of letting go of all my relationships just from like a psychic energetic level. Yeah. Being okay if every relationship ended. Like if I wasn't friends with you, if I wasn't friends with Natalia, if I wasn't friends with Victoria, whoever, who I deeply love, I'm good. And it's okay. And it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It's like just natural in life. And so much of my pain was holding on to friends that just weren't a fit anymore. Yeah. I feel like so often people are like, you're my best friend forever. Right. I love you forever.
And you're like, I'm claustrophobic now.
Literally.
You're suffocating me.
You're suffocating me. And that just isn't true. Like, we're just not friends with people forever. It's normal. Like, we go through evolution. I think the more I would hold on to people to try and keep them the same or try and me be the same, the worse things were off. So the more I can let go, and the more I can allow people to be themselves, trust that we're going to weave in and out, and that it's all good, and we'll meet each other at the perfect time, the better my life has become. Yeah.
And so if you are someone who is struggling with their friendships right now, maybe you feel like these people are not a good fit for me anymore, what do you do about friendship breakups? Do you feel like there's a right way to go about it? Is there a wrong way to go about it?
What's been your worst one?
My worst one? I think it's just being ghosted.
Oh my God.
Being ghosted in a friendship is brutal, because it's the endless spinning of, what did I do? Did I say something wrong? Did I post something on Instagram that you didn't like? Do I have bad breath? Like, what's going on here?
How long were you friends with them?
Like years.
Stop.
Years. But I feel like I've had this experience many times, and it's always a mystery. Like, one of the questions I wrote down was...
You activate people.
Well, I've heard that, but then I'm like, people are just saying that to be nice to me.
No.
But like, I feel that being ghosted, you always think like, okay, maybe I'm a shitty person.
For sure.
Which is why this keeps happening to me.
Of course, you're gonna make it about you.
Yeah, of course.
What are you gonna do? Be like, they ghost me. I'm like, that's because I was an activator.
Right.
You know, I'm amazing.
Right.
Like, they intimidated.
Right.
That's what I did actually with the dating situation. I was like, ghost me. Liked me too much. It's like dating in your 30s. You're just like delusional in the best way. You're like, I intimidated him.
I'm just too powerful.
I'm too powerful. Yeah,
And he just had to back
too
away.
Rich, too hot. I was like, got scared. Couldn't move.
Yeah.
Dude, being ghosted is heartbreaking.
It's awful.
Because you go through the situations, and it's interesting because in that situation with ghosted, you can easily see where you, like, your limiting beliefs a little bit.
Yes.
You're like, okay, because someone else might not have that. So for you, maybe online is not. Mm-hmm. Maybe people online are judging me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I said something wrong. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Of like what you did wrong.
Right. Or often I think like maybe seeing me be happy online is too much for you. But then I'm always like, I'm not fucking pretending that my life sucks ass to make you happy.
Totally.
Why should I do that?
Totally.
It's not real anyway.
Totally.
You know?
Was there any issue before the ghosting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you ever reach out?
I think I've reached out a couple of times, but there's nothing.
Okay.
So eventually you think, well, she's just fucked up. So it's not my
100%.
problem.
Totally.
But who knows?
It is, I mean, there's a lack of skill there.
Yeah.
If people are ghosting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I
And what
agree.
I've had to learn, emotional depth does not equal emotional maturity.
Ooh.
So someone can be deep and they can be like, yeah, you know, talk about fucking aliens, conspiracies, trauma, whatever the fuck. And they don't have the skills to be in relationship.
Yes, it's so real.
It's so different. That's such a different thing because someone that's ghosting you doesn't have skills.
Yes.
They're not emotionally mature. So you guys can connect and kiki and have your time, but they're not emotionally mature. But that's heartbreaking. Like,
Yeah.
that's heartbreaking. Yeah, I've had friendship breakups in my life for sure. You know, I've had my heart broken by many men, but also many women.
Yes.
Like, it's painful.
It's awful.
It's awful. It hurts so bad. Like, you just feel so alone. And like, I think women, for me at least, have gotten access to parts of me that a lot of times men didn't get.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's even worse. You're like even more rejected. But for me, in a lot of ways, it was mother wound stuff. And I've talked about mother wound before, but
Okay.
so the mother relationship sets the standard for any other relationship in our life. Our mother is life for the first years of our life. So how we are with our mother, the attachment, how they are with other people, really sets the stage for how we can be with female friends. So for a lot of people, my mom was not around, she was not attentive, she was all these things. So me in friendship, I would be in relationships, I'd try to get attention from women that were not attentive, women, all these things. So when I had friendship breakups, it would be this like really deep closeness and then like an intense rupture where something would happen and we would just end up not being friends. But it was so incredibly heartbreaking, and I think I just had to allow myself to move through it and then learn to like coping skills, learn healing skills, learn to be my own best friend, but just know it's completely normal.
Yeah.
You know, I think we talk about romantic breakups all the time, but friendship breakups can literally be just as hurtful and harmful.
Even more so.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no support for it. Like
None.
people are used to the idea of like you got dumped, so you're eating
Every
a
song.
pint of ice cream.
Every song, everything,
Yes.
yes, about romantic breakups.
But if you broke up with your best friend, then
Yes.
there's no songs about that.
Girl, I know.
Where are the songs about
Girl.
it?
And sometimes you're closer to them. Like,
Yes.
it feels like they're gonna be around longer.
And their absence is so loud.
Yes.
You're like, who am I going to send memes to?
100%. Yes, 100%. It's,
Yeah.
but everyone goes through them. And now I think in the last round I had friendship breakups like a few years ago. And it was like my final straw where I was like, yeah, I'm no longer outsourcing my power and I'm no longer outsourcing my worth and I'm no longer outsourcing myself to other people. And if this happens again, I'm going to be in a conscious decision about it rather than unconscious. Because we were in unconscious codependent patterns that like caused the rupture to happen. That was like big drama.
Yeah.
And I was like, no more. Like I want to be much more mindful about how I'm going to be navigating things.
And I'm not going to use this person as a prop to
Yes.
base how I feel about myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Which is big. So if somebody wants to have a friend breakup or they're like, you know, it's not a vibe anymore, what's your advice on how to approach that? Is it like, that's the thing, not everybody can
Yeah.
handle the real conversation.
100%.
But do you try to have it anyway? Like, what do you think that looks like?
I'm personally a no. I'm like, let things
Fizzle?
flow. Let them flow. Like, you've had them before, and I have many friends that have had the conversation where they're like, hey, I need a break. Let's take a break from this. And I don't think I've had that, but I just feel like things can ebb and flow naturally. If you're truly in a new vibration and have different priorities and different interests, you guys are naturally going to sort of fall out.
Yeah.
If a conversation needs to be had and this person is persistent and like they can hold it, then that's fine. But I think doing it with kindness, like I'm not a fan of being like, hey, you know, you're not interesting to me. And you know what I mean? You're kind of boring now and you're lame. It's like, just allow them to be them, allow you to be you, and things will naturally fade. I don't think a conversation is necessary. But if you feel like it's in your best interest and their best interest and you feel like you're going to get value from it, I think that's important. But again, just making sure you're resourced and that you're capable, you know, of doing it.
And sometimes feeling like you need to tell them like what's wrong with them or what's not working for you, I think is kind of selfish, because just because it doesn't work for me, Gala, it might work for the next person that you meet. They might love to do that thing that I don't like doing with you.
Totally.
So I don't want to put that on somebody, you know?
I think when people do that, it's not, they want to be in relationship or they want to hurt the person. It's like if you really truly are cool about not being someone's friend, you're like, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm cool. You're cool. But if you kind of still desire the connection, you're going to be like, girl, you're going to put in the effort to hurt them because you're still hurt. And there's just no point, you know, to do that. But if someone asks you like, hey, can I have feedback? You have to like give feedback.
Yeah.
And be like, you know, this is why it wasn't working for me. But with kindness, I think always works. But I don't think a conversation is always necessary. But at times, if you maybe have deep, intimate relationships that are longstanding, then yeah, you know.
Yeah. So what do you do if there's a friend in your life who seems to create drama? They have always got some new chaos, some new madness. How do you rock with that? Do you have any tolerance for that? Are you not interested? Are you kind of thrilled by it?
No, not my jam.
Yeah.
Not my journey, not my truth. So friends that are always in drama, it's just like, I feel like that was like our 20s and younger.
Yeah.
And I just don't have time for it. It's like such an energy drain. So if a friend is in that, I'll kind of watch and see for like 6 months, like, how we doing? Like, what's up? We still in drama? Is this you, or is this just what's going on in your life?
Right, is it circumstantial? Because it easily can be.
Yes, you want to be there for people. Like, I'm all about being there for people through hard times. Like, I'm not happy all the time. My life is not good all the time. I need people when I'm going through it. But after 6 months or so, like, I'm gonna be like on my journey, because I can't be in that myself. Like, I have to not self-abandon enough for people. So I think really watching, maybe you're creating drama in your life and they're kind of matching you. Maybe you guys are both doing it. But if it's not a fit and they're not serving you and not bringing anything to your life and really taking energy from you, then you don't need to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had that experience?
Yeah, I've definitely had friends that were chaotic.
Yeah.
And I think, again, in my 20s and my 30s, I was drawn to it because it's interesting and they've always got a story and they're always going out and there's something to do and blah, blah, blah. But over time, you just start to realize that it's not worth the energy you're putting into it. And also, it's giving you a warped perception of what life is and can be. Like, if you have a friend who's always in some man drama, you're gonna start to think that men bring drama. Like, these people influence you by what they say, what they do, what they think, how they behave. So we have to be really clean about who's around me, what's their life like. If I don't want my life to be like theirs, then probably I shouldn't spend time with them.
I love that. And even thinking about that, it's like, it's like having hope for people, but not expecting them to change.
Yes.
I think people will be friends with someone, they're like, oh, they're, and then it'll be like years and years and years and like a life. Like, I even have a really close friend who I still am close with, but I kind of had to leave in their drama. And we're contained close now, where I'm like, I realized after like 15 years, I was like, oh, this has been the same thing.
Yeah.
They had the same realizations, the same drama, the same stories. And I was like, oh, I need to no longer have hope that you're going to change, because you're probably not. And I'm still going to love you as you are. But like, that's not part of my experience anymore.
Yeah.
And I can love you from a distance.
Yeah. I think loving from a distance is such an important point. If you have conflict with a friend or it's no longer a vibe, then it's okay to love from a distance.
Yes.
You don't have to cut them off forever, have nothing to do with them, block them on all social media, but you also don't have to be texting them every day.
Yes. I think so many people have so many friends that they just don't think about. It's like, because we mostly think about the friends that are in our immediate proximity. The ones that we see, like, there's a lot of research around friendship, and that it does talk a lot about proximity creates friendship. When you were younger growing up, you're friends with people that were on your street and in your area. So when we're around people, it creates this sense of like intimacy and closeness. But I have so many friends that they'd be like, yeah, we're friends, but we haven't talked in months. So it's like we all have so many friendships that we can tune into, that we can pour into, that we can be with, that maybe just aren't with us all the time.
Yeah. And I love what you said earlier, really about pouring into the people that you do have.
Yes.
And asking yourself, where can I bring more energy to this?
Yep.
How can we get closer? What could we do to get closer? And this idea of creating your own invitation and not waiting for them. You know, your friends are going through so much all the time that you may not even know about. So maybe reaching out to them and being like, hey, do you want to get pizza and just eat it on the beach and do nothing?
Yes. I think everyone wants those friends where you can just go to Home Goods.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and that's the thing. It doesn't need to be like parties. It doesn't need to be going out. It doesn't need to be dinners. Like, the best friends are like, hey, can I come over and we can sit on the couch?
1,000,000%.
Like the other night, my friend Joey came over and we just looked at each other's Google searches and just like pissed our pants for like 2 hours at the shit that we had Googled. You know, it's like, it doesn't need to be much. Like, you can find easy, light things. And when people can take the pressure off to be perfect, when people can take the pressure off for needing to look a certain way, when people can really just show up with like, also like a desire to just love someone and like get to know them and like a pure intention, it just gets so much better.
Yeah. And it's all practice for our romantic relationships too. You know, these skills are transferable. And there's so much love available in our lives if we can open ourselves up to feel it.
Yes.
But sometimes that means you're going to have to make the first step or take the first phone call.
I think as like a last thing, it's like that was such a shift for me in my life of like, no one's going to save you. Like I always would be like, God, I want this opportunity to come, or like, I want this person to come, or I want this thing to happen, or, you know, I want the house, or I want the thing. It's like, you have to live like, no one is coming to get you. If you want friends, you have to make it happen. If you want the thing, you have to go for it. Sure, the universe will support you once you build your own momentum, but like you taking the step is like the sign the universe needs to step in and then support you in everything. So going first, talking to people at parties, saying hi to people, being friendly and open is gonna be huge for people that wanna like develop and create more friendships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think are the things you look for in a friend?
The things I look for in a friend. I need humor, just like you. If I can't laugh with you about something inappropriate, we will never be friends. And most of my friends, if you ever saw our text conversations, I would be canceled 5 times over.
Yes, that's
because it's
critical.
deeply inappropriate and wrong. So we have to be able to laugh about wrong things. And I also love someone with an interest in the weird.
Yeah.
You know, if you're bog standard conventional, it's probably not going to be a match for me. And I think also a degree of freedom. Like I don't talk to my best friends every day.
Yes.
We talk when we feel the urge, and I like the easy come, easy go nature of that. That feels really good to me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't have the energy to talk to people on my phone. Like I chat in the DMs with people all day long, and sometimes I just don't have any more energy for it.
Right, totally.
So kind of understanding where my energy is and not taking that personally is really big for me.
Yeah, and even like you having those values, like people listening can be like, these are my values and friends.
Yeah.
I want someone that's a good listener. I want, you know, having that too can also help guide you for like what you're looking for and who to go deep with. Like humor, freedom, like all of those things are so important. Now you're like, okay, are you down with that or not? Because then I know where to go.
Right, exactly. Yeah, what would you say are your like...
Humor, number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, humor, I'm like, where do I go past humor? Attentive and present.
Yes.
Like it's really important.
Like no phones on the table
No
at
phones
dinner.
on the table.
Yeah.
Eye contact, body language, like super important to me. And then I would say like a positive like disposition. Like I need someone that's positive, not in victim mentality.
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
It's something I'm working on in therapy to let it go. Because I just hate it. I'm like, you need to, like, I want you to feel like you're in the creator mode of life. Like, there's possibility.
Yes.
Like, everything's a yes.
Yes.
Like, what can we do? Like, there's a sense of magic for life that I just, like, love.
Yeah, childlike zeal.
Yes.
Love that. I
Love.
co-sign that. I do. All right, I'm gonna ask you.
High five. High five. High five, sis.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you my sexy six.
Okay.
Number one, what did you want to be as a child, and how are you honoring that today?
You know what's psycho is I
What?
was thinking about this yesterday.
Really?
My mom sent me a picture. I had a little kid book that I wrote in. I said I wanted to be an actress, and I wanted to own a farm for like animals.
Amazing.
I'm like, that's literally my journey. Like, it's only a matter of time.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that weird? And I'm honoring that now. What we do is an acting, but there's like an actress entertainment element
There's a
to it.
performance element,
And
for
then
sure.
the animals thing. Animals are like my thing.
I love that.
I know. What was
Yeah.
yours?
I wanted to be an actress, a radio DJ, and a writer.
Stop.
And I mean, basically, that's my life.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It is crazy, but it just shows I really believe that we know what we want as children. There's like a seed of it in our spirit when we're born.
Totally.
And if you're really gonna be happy, you pull that thread with you the whole time.
Wow.
That's what I believe anyway.
I'm so grateful my parents had that because I wouldn't have thought, I would have no idea.
That's so
as a
great.
kid. I know.
Brilliant.
I know.
Brilliant. Number two, what is the name of the movie of your life?
Gravity and levity.
Ooh, damn.
I just like to be as deep as I am light. Like, I like the depth and I love the light.
Ugh.
I just want to traverse both. I was
Fuck,
going to say
that's
Clueless, but then I was like, that's a real movie. I was like, you're like, movie of your life. I'm like, my favorite movie in my life. Okay, Gravity and Levity.
Wow, great answer. Number three, who is on your spiritual board of directors and why?
God. God's the CEO. God's my boss.
Yeah.
And then friends, would you say? Spiritual friends?
Sure.
Or like my community? I would just say God's my boss. I'd say I rock with God. I have my guides and my team and my angels, but I just kind of keep it easy. Like, I'm not like, hey, Mary Magdalene, you know what I mean? I don't really like personify anybody.
Okay.
I just kind of rock with that as like a simple thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Number four, what is your life philosophy?
That's a good one. I was thinking, like, what's the point? It's like my life philosophy. Literally, like, sometimes I'm like, what's the fucking point of this? What's the point of any of this? I think my life philosophy is, I don't know. I feel like sometimes they're just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? If we're not growing, if we're not having fun, if we're not enjoying ourselves, if we're not like making things the best they can, and just being really curious about like literally what are we doing on earth? What are we doing in relationship? What are we doing in creating? And just being honest and serious about like how we're spending our time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you take that with everything that you do. Like,
Yeah.
that's a thread for all the
Yeah.
work that you do.
Lover of life and a fan of living it too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, number five, what's on your bucket list that you haven't done yet?
Oh, that's a good one. It's weird because like there's like my 20-year-old like ego bucket list where I'm
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? I'm like, run a marathon. I'm like, no, that's not on my bucket list. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that.
Right.
So it's like getting an older bucket list. I think mine would be more with like my work and like like interviewing and sitting with certain people and really fucking going there. I feel like I have gone there. People would think that I've gone there, but I really haven't gone there with what I want to say and who I want to be. And so being on my bucket list would be like to really actually say how I feel and be myself, I think, as the biggest thing before I die,
Okay.
to feel fully expressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And number six, what would you like your tombstone to say?
Oh my God, let it rip. Let it RIP.
That is brilliant.
You're like, let it and then RIP. What would you want yours to say? I mean, honestly, you'd have it graffitied out. It would be like all the graffiti.
I don't know, but I feel like whatever was chiseled into it would
Yeah.
need Swarovski crystals.
100%.
You know, bedazzled
Have it be
tombstone.
neon.
Yes. Neon around the edge.
Yes. Yeah.
Disco grave. That was our 66.
Okay.
You killed that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. And I feel like we really covered some deep stuff that people really struggle with. I really appreciate your expertise and your genius on the matter.
I love hanging with you.
Same. It's my fave.
The best. We're so lucky, to be honest.
We're so lucky. We're so lucky. So where can people find you? How do they get more into your sexy world?
It's Krista on Instagram's perfect. It's Krista.com. So it's ITSKRISTA. And then Almost 30 Podcasts is the podcast. And that's perfect.
You need to listen to.
She was on it. We talked about manifestation. It was when your book came out.
Yeah.
It was baller.
It was baller.
Yeah.
It was great.
And tapping and all this stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to her podcast. Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to High Vibe Hotline, where I take your calls and answer your questions. Let's take our first one.
Gala, when I meet people who I think are cool, how do I actually turn that into a friendship?
Yes. So we grow up with friends at school and friends in our neighborhood and friends that we work with, and it's really easy to do things with them. You know, you naturally are like doing your homework together, or you do a sport together, or you go to dinner at their house because you're on the same street. And as you get older and your friendships are more about having similar interests or really putting effort into maintaining the friendship, it can become much harder to figure out, like, how do I make things work with this person? And so you might meet somebody in a yoga class or at your gym or at a co-working space or something like that. And we sometimes think that if they really liked us, they would be really clear about it. They'd let us know, they'd be blowing up our phone, they'd like follow us on Instagram immediately and start sending us memes. But the truth is that most people take a little bit of time to warm up to other people, and they also have their own lives going on, right? Like they have their friends, their family, their work, who knows? And so there's a few things I want you to keep in mind. Number one, I think it's much more reasonable to assume that we're gonna have to put in effort to make things happen. So if you do find somebody that you like and you wanna be friends with them, you're gonna have to reach out to them. And think about, like, not to be heteronormative, but men dating, right? Like they might approach 20 women in a bar in a night and try to talk to them all. And they're gonna get rejected like 19 times out of 20, maybe even 20 times out of, maybe 21 times out of 20, and go home sad and alone. So sometimes we're not good at taking rejection or not like being followed up with immediately, and we take it really personally, but it's not personal. So firstly, it's like, make the effort to reach out. Secondly, don't take it personally if they don't respond immediately, or they forget to get back to you, or they say, I can't this time. Sometimes we take that stuff as like, maybe she's saying she doesn't really want to hang out with me, but she doesn't have the courage to say that. But I want to just encourage you to give people the benefit of the doubt. I so often am invited to do things and I just can't do it, or I miss the text or the DM because my inbox is blowing up for whatever reason. And so give people a little bit of grace to say no or miss the message and not take it personally. The third thing I would say is when you reach out to them, try and be really specific. Rather than being like, hey, we should hang out sometime, and then it's like, yeah, crickets. Maybe say, hey, there's this great Italian place that opened near me. I've heard it's really good. Do you want to go get dinner? Or do you want to go get coffee on Thursday morning? Or I'd love to do some co-working with you. Like, how's your Friday afternoon look? So give them a place and like a thing, and also a day and a time. And they can either say yes or no, but be really specific. When you're just vague about it, it's hard for people to get excited. Maybe like come up with something that's like a good lure, like something that you think they're gonna be excited about. Making friends when you're a little bit older does require more effort, like it really does. But man, it's like when you meet those people that really get you, God, it feels so good and it's so worth it. And remember, like all these people that you meet, not everyone's gonna be your bestie. Some of them you might only know for a month or two, but even that might be an amazing stepping stone to a new interest or a new person or a romantic interest. Like you never know where these connections are gonna go. So I just encourage you to stay open to meeting new people and experimenting with that and not taking it too personally. Okay, let's do our second question.
Hi Gala, how do I find people that I have things in common with? I want to make new friends, but I just don't know where to start.
Yeah, again, these are just the most common questions. I receive these all the time. And again, it's like when we're younger, it's just whoever's around you, it's easy. And as you get older, maybe you're married, you have kids, you move to a new town, you're working remotely, it's like you're in friendship wasteland, like there's no one. So I'm probably gonna sound nerdy and weird when I say this, but maybe this is just a function of being a millennial. I have met all of my favorite people on the internet. Like every single one. Although my friend Madeline, I met through a friend who's a super connector. So actually, let me rephrase that. If you have a friend who knows tons of people, like mine that network, and I know that sounds gross, but just like, you know, meet their people. You will meet amazing people through people you love. But also, I've met all my favorite people through the internet, and those connections are so real because often we're brought together by having similar interests or similar perspectives or wanting to work on similar things. So I say use the internet to meet people that you love. It's one of the reasons why communities like High Vibe Honey are so powerful and are so thriving. Like people call it a bestie factory because they're always meeting people they love and they go officiate their weddings and travel the world with them and stuff. It's really amazing. So don't be shy about using the internet to meet people that you really have stuff in common with. And again, just like with the previous answer, then make the effort, right? Follow up with them, don't take it personally, be friendly, and best of luck. It's so worth it. It really is. All right, now let's do some tapping on attracting some new friends. Now we're gonna do some tapping on attracting the perfect people into your life. It's gonna be really beautiful. If you've never tapped before, you're just gonna copy my hand movements and repeat after me. And we're gonna start on the top of the head. The more outrageously that I am myself, the more I will magnetize the perfect people. The more I speak my truth, the more I'll meet my soulmates. And the more courage I have to truly be me, the faster I will draw new friends in. Sometimes it feels like I'll never meet the right people, or that I'm all alone on this planet. But I know that's not really the case. Maybe my best friends live just around the corner. And I haven't opened my mind to be able to meet them yet. Maybe there's love all around me all the time, but I just haven't turned on my switches to receive. So what if I could feel that love right now? What if I could feel it before it even shows up? And what if I could practice feeling that so that when these perfect people show up, they fit into my life seamlessly? And it's like we've known each other forever. What if it could be so easy to meet these people? I'm opening myself up to meeting them right now. I'm gonna put myself in the right places and environments to find them. I'm gonna be open and friendly to the people that I meet. And when I meet them, I'm not even gonna be surprised, because I knew they were coming this whole time. I am ready to meet my best friends. And they're so much closer than I think. All right, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and let it go. And if you want to learn more about tapping, come to highvibehoney.com. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. Look at this table.
This fabulous Marie Antoinette spread.
Oh, this is stunning.
I'm obsessed.
With the view as well. This is literally gorgeous.
Oh,
So beautiful.
it's so nice to like spend time with people. I feel like I don't have a lot of parties or gatherings, you know, but I feel like it's something I feel like I should make more of an effort to do, because when you actually bring people together, it reminds you how loved you are, and you're not always feeling that all the time, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We were talking about that because here we are in our little bubble down here, and I was thinking that lately. I was like, whoa, like I actually have felt lonely recently, and that's like a humbling feeling.
Yes.
Like I like being with myself, but it's almost like the feeling of like I want to be with people. I want to be more social, and if that's not really an option, because I live in a hobbit house at the end of a cul-de-sac. It's just like, so this is perfect. So I'm so happy we're together.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
That's so good. So we've been talking about friendship a lot, and I think we all have such different ways that we make friends and connect. And I mean, Natalia has introduced me to so many people. In fact, almost everybody that's been in Vortex Vision is a Natalia Benson connection.
That's insane.
Which
what
is
an honor.
Super connector.
Seriously,
That's
super
wild.
connector.
Wow.
But I mean, I'd love to hear from all of you kind of like, what's your approach to friendship, or how do you cultivate friendships, or how do you meet people? Like, what's your tactic?
For me, it was about putting myself out there with hobbies, like starting new things. We've talked about before as well how meeting people through business is such a big thing. I find that
So huge.
difficult because most of the amazing people are in other countries or in other states, so it does require that little bit of extra effort to kind of maintain those online friendships, or to travel, or to meet somewhere in the world. But for more localized friendships, I think just getting yourself into some kind of hobby, you know, dance, for me it was martial arts, like even if you're not doing it to be good at it, just to meet people.
So
it's
real.
such a, like, especially community-based sports or activities.
Yeah, you've had a lot of success with that.
Yeah, my whole entire friendship group now, all of my best friends are all from Muay Thai.
I love that.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
That's really
and
nice.
they were all friends that I made when I was like 30 years old as well. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Even
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
All my best friends are literally from my 30s.
Really?
Yes, like everyone that I've met, like including you, like you're my OG of my friend group. It's like I met you when I connected with you when I was 31.
Wow. It's amazing how friendships change over time. Like I'm writing an article for Rock and Roll Bride magazine about getting married for a second time, and I'm writing about how I am not in contact with literally anybody who came to my first wedding,
Wow.
except for my parents.
Yeah.
No one. I don't even exchange Instagram messages with them. Like I couldn't even tell you who was there,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Yeah.
It changes so much.
Does that fill you with like sadness, or is it something you've come to terms with?
It honestly doesn't bother me at all, because I think if they were real friendships that had a lot of value, then I would have maintained them, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear about Natalia and Amber's approach to meeting people, like, because, and I mean, I think what you said, like making friends through business, you know,
That's a huge
Because you
one.
have that
God.
common goal.
Yeah,
that common
that's
focus.
Someone actually DM'd me probably in the last year or something, and they were like, how have you made your friendships? And I was like, all of my friends are actually people who mentored me.
wow.
Yes. Like they were people that, mentored me. And even more recently, I started doing more masterminds. And that also really guided me to just deeply high caliber, kind, grounded, conscientious people. Because one thing that I really started to notice was like a value of mine as like I got older was just like people who knew how to have like two-way conversations. And it wasn't like a monologue of like all the kookery going on. And that is something I really realized through the contrast of my 20s in LA. I was like, I really crave like deep connections, deep conversations.
Yeah.
And strangely, like business and being entrepreneurial and even just like being myself online, like, you know, for me on the Gram, it's like that has brought me so many amazing human beings.
Yeah.
I actually had a funny experience like many years ago with my maid of honor, Sarah. I was playing a show in San Francisco and she drove up to the show. This is right before I connected with you. This is in 2018. And she drove up to the show and we had been friends. She actually was a client of mine. That's also how I make a lot of my friends, is people who are clients of mine at first.
And you guys were both my clients.
Yeah.
I know. And they were both mine.
And then I'm
My
your
Geminis.
client.
I know.
We're
is
so
like-
incestuous.
Incestuous. Oh my God. Wow.
But I'll never forget, we like got up to San Francisco and I said something like, oh yeah, like I made this like passing comment around feeling like she was like a really close like best friend of mine. And she told me later, she's like, I thought we were already best friends. Like she already thought that we were really close, but I didn't really have the awareness around that with myself, that it takes me a second, mostly just because when I lived in Los Angeles, I just feel like I had not the best experiences.
Yeah.
And this was not a one-way, this was not just because of other people, this was because of me too. But I just realized that that kind of like closed me a little bit and just made me want to sit back and be like, okay, am I safe? Is my heart safe? Can I be the fullest, weirdest version of myself?
My most radiant Natalia Benson.
Yes, and just also I'm like, I realize I think I'm a dichotomy because I'm really sensitive, but I'm also super fierce.
Yes.
And that is an interesting combination in a person. And but I realize that the people who are like my soulmates, they totally like, they allow space for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh,
But
I
yeah,
love that
it takes
you-
time.
Yeah, I love that you spoke about allowing space, because I think where it makes sense for me too on the side of time, like having a friendship evolve over time. I realize, and maybe this is because I'm a Gemini and I have like usually the first like layer of friendship, I connect with people by relating to them. So usually if someone has an interest, like I'll find a way to talk about it, or I'll find a way to ask them questions, and that's sort of how I get to know people and make friendships. And I love what you said about hobbies, because I've noticed that shift for me as well around like early 30s. I had a shift where I realized that, because I'm from the East Coast and a lot of my friends have had babies really young and like have had families really young, and I also realized that I was one of the only women in my friend group that decided to start a business, and like that changes, you know, what can you relate to, you know, with your friends on certain things. So I've been able to find a lot of joy in finding new places and new things in life to be excited about, and connecting with new people through those new experiences, and giving myself the permission to be like, oh, okay, like it's okay that these friendships are not for this particular thing, and understanding that, you know, these friendships are still valuable in their own right. Like they don't have to go on the back burner, but it just that it's okay that they change or they evolve into something else, and you know, maybe there's just not that friendship doesn't have the capacity for that depth. And when you mention people allowing you to be yourself, like I think the way that I feel most close to someone is if someone can hold space for me, because I think that I try to approach most friendships like that have been where you've gotten to know someone for like a period of time. Like I try to hold space for people, especially when it's like they want to open up to you, or they're giving you a part of themselves. They're, you know, telling you something about themselves. So I try to be really conscious of doing that for other people, and if someone is able to reciprocate that for me, then that's where I feel like the friendship will reach the next level, you know?
Do you know what I'm really interested to know having this conversation though, because I haven't personally had this, and I don't know, I guess it's a proximity thing, it's an interest thing like I've been saying, but I've never really been able to like come back with a friendship where it's broken up, a time's gone past, and you've come back together, and that's what I'm always really interested if anyone's like had an experience with that, because is it awkward, you know what I mean? Like
I have only had one of those experiences, and it was with Natalia Benson, my beautiful hairy grape sitting across from me.
Hairy grape.
Yeah.
You're Capricorn rising.
Yeah.
But literally, same. Like I think I've had peaceful reconciliations like in the DMs, but no one that I ever like came back together with. Like we have.
Yeah.
And we've wanted to talk about it.
We have wanted to talk about it. Like, I've had lots of friendship breakups or friendship ghosts or whatever, but I've never had a friendship come back together. Do you want to tell the story, or should I tell the story?
Yeah, you tell it. I'm already talking too much.
Oh, God.
But you've also talked a lot this week, so what do you feel?
I'll see what I can say, and just feel free to interject wherever it feels good. Natalia and I built this friendship that felt to me like really nourishing and beautiful, and it was kind of an unusual time. Like I had just moved to Los Angeles. I didn't really know any people there. I was really re-examining my business, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I was kind of just like feeling my way through a lot of things. And we had a really close friendship, and I really relied on you, I think, as a friend for a lot of stuff. And I don't know what happened exactly, but I feel like my life got busier. I hired someone to work as my assistant with me, and I think it kind of took me away from my friendships a little bit. And I don't know if that was your experience, but I felt like I was maybe a little bit less present in the friendship. And then, What even happened?
I don't even, you know what's so weird? Like, I don't remember. I literally feel like we had, well, I remember this was probably in 2019, because I remember it was the first year that I was with Mick.
Yeah.
And I remember we like had this moment in the fall where we just sort of were missing the mark with each other and we weren't really connecting. And as I mentioned, I feel like I had experiences being friends with really powerful women, and I'd been so hurt. And I feel like there was like a short season where I like projected all of that onto you, and then instead of communicating it to you, I just left. And that was like really a massively toxic trait of mine.
Which was kind of your pattern, I think, was you would be like activated by someone and you would
not be able
retreat.
to speak into it.
Yeah.
It would literally be like, it's just, and I even noticed that recently in my life, again, where I was like, oh my God, it actually came up in my marriage where I was like, wow, I'd rather run and leave than have to like speak my needs or tell someone that I feel hurt or that I feel abandoned or I feel disregarded. And I feel like we just moved apart from one another. And I feel like when we came back together, I feel like there was this moment where like you messaged me, and I think we talked on the phone, and we hadn't talked on the phone in like a fucking year and a half. Like it had been a long time.
Wow. Yeah, it was a
really, really long time.
Like when the friendship kind of broke apart, I remember messaging Natalia and not getting any responses from her, and I was like, I sent her like some silly messages like you would send your friend, and there was nothing. And then a couple of days later I was like, hey, are you okay? And then nothing. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I think I must have sent a message to you being like, I don't understand. Like, I hope everything's okay. I'm sure you were like posting on Instagram. I was like, but I know you're like alive, and I don't understand if I've done something or what's going on. And you replied to me, and you basically told me that you felt like I wasn't seeing you or hearing you or paying attention to you. And I was like so devastated. I was like hysterically crying. I was so upset because I felt like, oh my God, this person I care so much about has been so hurt by me. Obviously, I'm still emotional about it. And I was really, it really made me look at myself and be like, oh my God, am I a terrible friend? Like, what have I done? And you didn't want to talk about it. You were kind of just like, that's my piece. Like, I wish you well. And it was so hard to process.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remember when
so
we came back
hard.
together, I was like, the place that I want to like offer you like my deepest apology. And what I think we both had to heal through was like, you know, I'm sorry that I didn't just tell you how I was feeling.
Right.
And I didn't just tell you what was coming up for me. But it was one of those moments where it was like, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. It's just like, I didn't know that I was carrying these undigested things from past friendships. And to leave and to just sort of like sprint forward, because my whole like battle cry with myself is like, I'll be fine alone. Like that's always been my thing, but that's why it's kind of funny coming full circle to now how I'm like, oh, I don't want to be alone.
You're like, I'm lonely, I want my friends.
I want friends.
Yeah.
But I remember like when you and I remember you messaged me during the pandemic, and you were, I think because we were doing something together, like a bundle or something.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. And I remember someone DM'd me once, and they were like, why aren't you and Gala following each other anymore? You guys are like really close friends.
Oh, we got to
And I
Instagram.
literally,
Unfollowing.
I literally remember being like, oh my God, I don't even know what to say to this person. But I said, you know what? I'm like, that's between like she and I, and like I don't really have anything to say. And it was just, but it was honestly, I'll never forget, and I'll say it again, like when we talked again, and it was just like that realization of like, oh my God, I could have just told you. But for me, the templates of friendships that I had experienced, being honest was not even an option. Being safe to just be like, hey, this is where I'm at, or this is where I'm feeling hurt or abandoned or whatever. It's like that just wasn't templated for me yet. And yeah, I feel like when we came back together, that was like my biggest realization was like, I could have like told you like how I felt, and instead I just took the easy road. That wasn't easy. It's like, that's the irony, is it wasn't easy, it was actually harder.
Way hard.
Suffering so much, but it was just like, but I would like tell myself like, I'm fine alone. Like, I don't need anyone.
Which is such a sad story to tell yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it hurts my heart to think that that's like a story you've had to tell yourself to feel okay.
Yeah.
And like when we came back together, yeah, we were doing some like Instagram bundle together or something.
You
and
organized one together?
No,
It was like-
someone else
Yeah.
organized it, and we were 2 of like 6 people.
Right.
And so we had to post about each other's stuff. And I think I reached out to you and I just was like, hey, I hope you're well. Like, you know, I miss you. You look like you're doing great, you know? And I really sent that message with I honestly never thought she would respond to me, but I just was like, I love this person. And even though the fracture was really painful, I still love her. I still think she's a good person. I think she's probably just like confused or pissed off about something, and like, it doesn't mean I don't love her.
Yeah.
But you were like really sweet, and I think you were really happy to hear from me. And then we like slowly put the friendship back together.
What was that process like?
What was that process like?
God, it was, I feel like we started talking since our love language is talking on the phone. And I feel like that was really, I do remember the feeling of just being like, stepping back into this friendship and feeling like we had both matured in ways that were really, really unique that maybe we couldn't have done together.
Yes.
And I feel like we started to like talk on the phone because Mick was living in Palm Springs then, so I was driving a couple hours like each way, and I just remember like, I think I remember starting to call you more, and we would just have these really long conversations. And I was like, and then I think that's when we had the conversation where I apologized to you, and I just said, you know, I could have handled that way differently, and I'm so sorry that I hurt you. And it's funny, like having this conversation, it's like, I feel like you're not talking about me, because that's how like disassociated I've been from that part of myself. Like just, and almost not even recognizing how painful that is. Like, I think it's funny for a person, which is me, who fears abandonment, that I would do that to someone and not just be able to like communicate and just be like, this is where I'm at. But, you know, we're talking, let's see, this was 4 years ago or 5 years ago at this point. And it's just, it's so special to see. And, you know, you ended up coming to my wedding, and we just really slowly moved back into a friendship together. I don't even remember the key thing. I feel like you moved here and then I came to see you. You've always been like my guide. So like, Gala does something and like, I'm not far off. Like, Gala moves to the beach, I'm moving to the beach. Like, just different things like this. You've always like set a pace for me, just like a sister. And
that's nice.
you know, I've never had a sister in my life. I've had a brother, and he's smelly, and he's my best friend
I would
now.
like to think I'm not smelly.
No, you
I hope I'm
smell
not
really
smelly.
good. But no, it really, I feel like it was a very like slow, not methodical, organic process.
And gentle.
we just sort of gently started to walk side by side again. And then, but I feel like we have like talked a few times about that experience and just really, the growth that we both created. And now it's like you are one of the most like remarkable friendships that I have. And like, I mean, I called you recently, like going through a lot with my dad, and it's just realizing I don't need to do things by myself. And you've really helped me like heal that and just be like, it doesn't need to be so hard, and I don't need to be alone.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Even though I live in a hobbit house in a cul-de-sac.
You live in you're like in the Shire.
I literally live in
fully in the
it's
Shire.
like crows
Wait, you guys
and
are
lizards.
This is such a beautiful story because
Yeah,
I
we've
think
never shared this. We've
No.
wanted to. We've talked about I mean, I don't have my podcast anymore. And
Right, we were like,
I
how
think
do we
Gala
talk
loves
about
everything
this?
is every so often. So but we have wanted to talk about this because I think it is really deeply unique and special that like we were able to come back together.
Yeah.
And be better than ever.
And so worth the effort. And like, there have been moments even since we've come back together where I have like a moment of fear where I'm like, fuck, am I gonna say something or do something and she's gonna go away again?
Yeah.
But like, I think something I'm learning in my life is that choosing to trust somebody is never a mistake.
Yeah.
And if they walk away or they can't handle it or whatever, at least you don't live in regret of, I didn't try, I wasn't open, I wasn't vulnerable. At least you're giving your whole self. And if they can't hang, then you did what you could. You did your best. Honestly, the number of close friends I have has shrunk so much. I probably have like 3 close friends. Only 2 of them that I speak to on a daily basis. And, you know, some who are like, you know, crazy flighty Geminis that I talk to like when the timing is good, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like, I think when I was younger, I had a lot more people that I was keeping in consistent contact with every day. And as I get older, that group just shrinks and shrinks. And I don't know whether that's because we have different interests or we're not evolving at the same rate or whatever. But honestly, I would so prefer to go really deep with like 3 or 4 people than to have like 20 friends who we really don't talk about anything of value.
Yeah. The thing is that I found with those older relationships, you meet new people who have common interests, business, passions, hobbies, and you're having conversations about moving forward. When I was catching up with the people that I felt obligated to keep a relationship because of that sunk cost bias, I've been friends with them for 20 years, 15 years, you just know because all you're talking about, all your common ground is in the past. And I like, not that I have any regrets or anything, but I definitely wasn't the person that I am today. And so it's almost like drudging up like the party, taking drugs version of yourself when you're like, I'm trying to start a business here. And all we can talk about is the time we, you know, got messed up like 15 years ago.
You don't want to live there. It's like, it's fun to reminisce from time to time, especially during Mercury retrograde, you know? But not
if it's putting you
all
back
the
in
time.
that place.
And yeah, a lot of my friends from a long time ago, it's really all we have to talk about because we've literally nothing in common anymore. And I still love those people very much, but they're not part of my like inner circle anymore. And I think being okay with that and not needing, like trying to make it what it's not, just letting it be what it is, I think is okay.
That's so mature because I just got there. I went through, I think after I turned 30, I was like, I would be like up crying, like thinking about friends that I've had since like high school and things like that, where it's just like, and being okay with the changes, I think was the hardest part for me because I felt like, what's wrong with me? Like, because I think a lot of my identity has been wrapped up for a long time in the value I bring to other people. So it's like, oh, like, I want to be a good friend. So that means this to me. And that means that this is how I show up. And then being kind of met with, you know, a lot of my friends got married recently, like all kind of around the same time. And I saw myself as a person who, you know, I'm married, but I'm still making a ton of time for my friends because that's important to me. And I had some friends who were kind of like, you know,
they didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, and their time was spent with their significant other, you know, which is totally fine. But I just realized I was like, oh, like, that's not really how I want to live my life. Like, I would rather still make time for those female friendships because I feel like it's really important, you know, especially as you get older. Yeah.
And those friendships with your female friends or just your friendships in general keep you tethered to who you are and your interests and your passions.
Yeah. Totally.
And as much as some of us fall into like the love haze and we kind of spend all our time with our partner, eventually you realize that's not really going to cut it. It's not fulfilling enough. And you start to need your partner to be everything when they're not capable of being that.
Nobody's capable of being
No,
everything.
they
for one
really
person.
aren't.
It makes me a better partner to be with my women.
Yes.
100%.
Like when I leave a day with you, like I am like flying high. Nothing is impossible. Like I just feel so much more open-hearted in my relationship because of the women in my life.
Because you're being nourished by other people.
Yeah,
and it's
because-
not all on your husband.
Yeah, Mick is he's the best. He's my soulmate. But it's like, I actually was reading I told you about this. I was reading Mating in Captivity. I decided to walk 10,000 steps a day. I'm really bonkers. Like,
love that.
these are the challenges I give myself.
also
As a
great.
Capricorn ascendant, I'm like, let me give
Your 30
myself.
day challenge.
So I did like 7 days, and I walked 10,000 steps a day, and I listened to Mating in Captivity. And one thing that I really took from it was really how there is this idea that we used to get the fulfillment from a tribe, from like a clan, from like the community that was around us.
Yeah.
And now in modern relationships, we expect one person to fulfill all those things. It's like impossible. So yeah, I learned a lot from that. And that even reminded me, because yeah, it's weird, like going back to the loneliness thing, I'm surprised that I was feeling lonely the other weekend, because I was like, oh, well, I'm feeling lonely because I'm craving being with people. I want to be more social. And that's just like such a beautiful thing, because I feel like sometimes I would like pride myself on being like reclusive.
Yeah, that's so funny because I'm not that way, but I feel like I'm kind of an ambivert, and I think it's because I tend to energetically, like when I'm with other people, I just absorb them, you know? And so I had to realize, I'm like, ooh, like there's like a list of things I need to do before I leave the house. And I also realized when you mentioned with your friendships that have evolved, your friendships from the past and people who are bringing up the past, I realized I'm like, oh, like that's actually quite draining.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're trying to move forward, like
be
if you think
married.
about like the polarity of that, like trying to move forward in your life and put the past behind you and create this newer, better version of yourself based off of this future idea or future vision of yourself. And it is like someone's energetically pulling you back.
Yeah.
So you're having to,
holding a mirror and showing you a picture of the past.
and I noticed it too, because I noticed it when there were people that I would be around that were, it was almost like I would feel more tired after being with them.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was from the output and energy that it took for me to kind of control what I had to say, figure out what's the best way to respond, figure out what to talk about.
Yeah,
you know?
it's tiring.
Yeah,
And
it was
then-
just tiring.
Oh, it's tiring.
You end up wanting to cancel, and then you feel
Yeah.
guilty because then you create all these stories that you're a bad friend.
Right.
Or hope that they cancel.
Oh, hope that they cancel, and then you're like, it's me, I'm the
which one of us
problem.
is gonna-
Like,
Yeah.
I'm the bad friend, but
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
Oh my
it's-
God. But
Yeah.
that's why I've come into this season of my life where like I'm either alone or with people that I deeply want to be with.
Yeah.
That's literally it. There's no in between.
Makes it so easy and so clear.
Yeah, that's like one gift I think of getting a little older too, is you're just like
No
very
tolerance.
specific. Very specific.
My goal is to be where you guys are at. I'm like at the precipice of it. Like I'm there.
Yeah.
But I was still holding on to little like remnants of like I think of my 20s where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so sad. And then I had like about 6 months of crying about it, and then I was like, okay, I'm okay.
No more tears to cry.
No more tears to cry. I gave myself, my prayer at the beginning of this year was to find new, amazing friendships in my area that were people that I could just easily bond with around, specifically around fitness, because it became kind of like a passion of mine. I was like, I want to be excited about this.
Yeah.
I want to feel good about this. And I met, what I like about that atmosphere was that the atmosphere of a gym or anywhere where people are trying to improve themselves.
Yes.
It's like so inspiring
Yeah. It's
and
built
so
on a positive
encouraging.
foundation as well.
My trainer is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
We
You
have
and
a
Elliot
blast.
need your own YouTube channel. It's gonna be a sub channel of
For fitness?
you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing that out
It'd be
there.
so fun.
I would watch it all day.
We're twisting it.
And you're gonna twist them in opposite directions. So
Okay.
follow the arrows.
All right.
You have to do it really hard.
Do not point it at my head.
Point it up. Okay, are you ready?
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 1, 2, 3. Friendship party.
I said Gosh, I love this.
Well, that was adorable.
Oh my God.
Hello, gorgeous. I hope that you are loving Vortex Vision so far. And if you enjoy the energy here, you're really gonna love the energy in High Vibe Honey. High Vibe Honey is the biggest and longest running EFT tapping membership in the world. For 6 years, we've been helping creative cuties, self-made entrepreneurs, stay-at-home mums, and everyone in between rewire their beliefs so that they can experience completely different lives. High Vibe Honey is designed to deliver on 3 major concepts: big love, bang and body, and billionaire baddie. If you're looking to attract more aligned partners, love your body so much that you finally feel sexy naked, or manifest doubling your income but nothing is working, this community is for you. High Vibe Honey is actually fun, engaging, and juicy. When the work feels like play, you'll expand faster and look forward to doing it. I have 17 years of experience tapping with thousands of people around the world, which means you're getting the very best guidance, all completely focused on getting you the results you desire. High Vibe Honey's community and live sessions keep you accountable. We don't just leave you to it. Our infamous live sessions and therapist-guided support calls mean you're not doing this alone, because our community is over 1,000 strong. It's seriously one of the most joyful places to be online. If you're interested in High Vibe Honey and you're ready to tap into a life that turns you on, check out highvibehoney.com or follow the link in the description. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode about friendship, and as you can tell from what transpired, it's such an important topic to me, and I hope that it inspires you to value and treasure your friends in a whole new way. And if you're feeling like, as you are watching this, you were thinking about a friend or someone you haven't heard from in a while, maybe you had some kind of falling out, and maybe you don't even remember what the falling out was about, I want to encourage you to reach out to them. Just grab your phone, don't overthink it. All you need to do is let them know that you're thinking of them. We never know what people are going through in their lives, and sometimes just hearing that can be everything. And it's not even about sending that message with a hope of something specific in response. It's just about letting them know that you still care, no matter what happened. And if you want more resources around this, then go to vortexvision.co. We have a whole thing about cultivating your friendships, making them stronger, appreciating them more, that I know will just add so much joy to your life. So thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next episode.